Alright, new recording started. What are we doing now? I need to perform 3 emoticons during my creator spotlight. Easy. Here comes creator spotlight. Chocobo Explorer. Smash into a crumbling chocolate with a beanball to score points. Nice. Alright, sounds great. I can do that. I don't have to avoid elimination, which is good. That'll give me plenty of time to just do my thing and do my emojis, my emoticons. There we go. Wait, is it emote? Whichever one it is, emotes or emoticons, I did all three of each. Alright, okay, I can roll down this, right? Hey, this is fun. Thank you. Damn it.
Okay, so there's really two parts. That's on the front of the reconstruction strategy, which is sort of like be conscious of the
Oh, nice. I didn't know I could bounce on it. That's awesome.
the second
Yeah. It was emoticons, not emotes. I messed up the first time, but then I got it right the second time. I get confused with the emotes versus emoticons.
Why did you leave it up to
Medieval Minds Explore.
in South Carolina when they're
But I don't want to.
black politicians driving them out of town? Why weren't we sending federal
That's a play. Grab and power up Rubber Chicken and break the crystals to earn points.
That sort of second strategy.
Yeah, I think this and yeah, we talked about the building and the democratizing. I think this containing reactionary power. I think this has a couple of dimensions, and
Like, get rid of ice. Like,
100%, right? So I think like you know, in a world where even the Bill Kristols of the world are very clear that needs to happen, I think progressives should be even more clear, yes, apologetic that when there's a governmental institution that is systematically, flagrantly violating the rights of just basic human rights, let alone like laws on the books and, you know, mistakenly detaining U.S.
I have to break 12 things.
It's just
I have to get 12 points on me.
and dangerous for democracy.
This is not good. Should not take 3 hits.
Reactionary power is meant to say that in any reconstruction moment, it's not enough to just do the affirmative things that we want. Like we want a more equal economy, we want more democracy.
Oh, it doesn't take 3 hits. I had to charge it up. That's what it is.
Centers of power that are built to prevent democracy. And so that, and we can think of that in price. We can think of that in terms of, you know, we have laws on the books to prevent the kind of rank corruption that we're seeing in this administration and the kind of abuse of office, right? If someone is holding office and abusing that office for their first gain or to violate the rights of others, we have laws already on the books against that kind of behavior. I would put actually anti-monopoly and antitrust out in this domain as well. Like if you did one function that the Sherman Antitrust Act was originally conceived was to put a ceiling on how corporate power could be amassed.
Whistle while we work. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Whether that's the unaccountable power of the oligarch or the unaccountable power of you know, a government that does not respect its protections. All of that is a like dismantling that we need to do progressives to ensure democracy.
No, it's a note that economic piece because I think when we just return to the failures of the so-called pro-democracy coalition, there has not been an effort from the opposition party to treat economic empowerment as a function of like democracy as well. When people don't experience that in their day-to-day lives, the most material way that the supposed democracy should be impacting them, they lose faith in those institutions themselves, and then we have an opposition party that runs on fake institutions that are screwing you. And I just to zoom out in terms of political orientation, like it's so fatal given everything you outlined.
Yeah, and I think that the notion that we actually have a very rich alternative tradition of progressive, smallly democratic social change that is very clear about that democracy has to be real in a material sense, right? That people's basic rights have to be actually protected from civil rights, human rights standpoint, that the economy has to actually be equitable. I mean, going back to, you know, the civil rights movement itself had a very robust vision of economic rights that was part of the March on Washington. And going still further back, the post-Reconstruction also had an economic dimension to it. They weren't fully realized, but, you know, from the standpoint of Black liberation and advancing multiracial democracy, social movements have consistently been very clear on the left, right? That the material reality of democracy has to be part of the equation.
Screw it. I'm just gonna leave. But I like this level. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Whistle while we work. Woo. I did it.
Have at the ready to reimagine institutions that will make democracy real, moving forward again. When we talk about democracy here, this is not kind of like
So far, I don't think I've been getting extra points.
it is literally people destroying power, which means that they get material benefits in society as well. Why? And you mentioned this before. You know, Rondani may be an example of one area and maybe
in the late 2000s, culture. A lot of books, shows, and movies came out that were trying to capitalize on the supernatural teen romance trend. these production teams just also did vampires. The first Twilight film hit theaters in 2008, and the Vampire Diaries aired on W in 2009. Like Twilight, The Vampire Diaries is based on a book series, this one written by L.J. but the books are not actually derivative of Twilight. They came out like a decade before. Any similarities you might notice are just a coincidence, or they stem from the fact that this is a genre, and genres have tropes. My first experience with The Vampire Diaries is that my friend Bailey put it on when I was sick with a
This is awesome.
and kind of delirious.
I love this.
And she was keeping me company, and she knew this would be the only way to get me to start watching this show. It turns out The Vampire Diaries, it doesn't matter if you're delirious, you're still going to have this experience. So anyway, after this, we subsequently
I was a
spent an
survivor.
entire summer binging the whole rest of the show. I say the whole show, but
It's not
actually
showing
around
me.
4 seasons, and there
Oh, it
were
looks like I
eight.
got
It felt really
something.
long, but yeah, we only made it about halfway before we decided it became too bad to continue. But for the purposes of this video, I am a Vampire Diaries expert. I just want to give like a flyover view.
I think I missed the bonus. Like I missed seeing the bonus visually. Because like every once in a while it freezes when it's supposed to be showing you the growth that your character gets. So I think it happened.
Before we proceed, I just need to lay it out there that
We can't see it.
is VPD. The real acronym is TVD.
I think.
The Vampire Diaries, but I'd call it VPD. Vampire Diaries. We're just gonna have to make good peace with that. Okay, here we go. Part 1, the love triangle. I was going to do a section called like the story or the premise, and then when I was writing this out, I realized that the love triangle just means that Twilight had Team Edward and Team Jacob, and Vampire Diaries had Team Edward. No, the Vampire Diaries had Team Stefan and Team Dave. Again, the similarity is a coincidence. Love triangles are very popular in the YA genre. Unlike in Twilight, both of Elena's options are vampires. They're also brothers, which I think is a pretty okay idea. I hate love triangles as a plot device, but usually the two men in the love triangle are just adversaries. So the idea of having them be brothers and having a relationship with each other too, I think makes it a lot more interesting. At the beginning of the series, Damon and Stefan are just total enemies, but as it goes on, it becomes clear that they actually really love each other. They are bromance. So love interest number 1 is Stefan. They obviously cast and styled the actor to be reminiscent of Robert Pattinson in Twilight. Just look at his hair and his big rectangular head. How old are you?
17.
Wait, how long have you...
I've been 17 years old. It's been 64.
Stefan is the good boy vampire. He's also extremely boring. Stud. Handsome brick of styrofoam. The most nuance they give him is making him a vampire allegory for alcoholism. Like Edward Cullen, Stefan only drinks animal blood, but we find out the reason he does that is because he cannot drink human blood in moderation. Most vampires can, Stefan can't. Even a little bit of it, he goes all jittery and starts craving it, which since he's a vampire, leads to him murdering people.
Jet, I can't stop, Elena. I'm a Ripper. A Ripper doesn't stop. When that clock ticks down, I don't have to feed on you.
I thought this was a pretty cool thing. Obviously, it's looking at the alcoholism parallel. The fact that it makes him a crazed murderer is a little insensitive, but it is an allegory. It's not supposed to be 1-1. Also in Twilight, it's portrayed as very noble that the Cullens only drink animal blood, but for the newer vampires in their family, they also steal blood bags from the hospital, and that's portrayed as like total. Stefan drinks animal blood for a reason that not only makes sense, but also adds something to his character. Also, he robs the local blood bank when he's struggling with his addiction, and it's portrayed as like a really bad thing and a huge red flag.
He has a fridge full of stolen blood bank documents.
Thing they did with Stefan, so it's important to note that in later seasons they just completely forgot about it. You even see him drinking human blood from the blood bank like it's no big deal. Love interest number 2 is Damon. He is obviously the bad boy alternative. He gets more interesting storylines.
Alright, I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm supposed to do here.
Episodes you start to notice that he has one face he makes to punctuate every single one-liner. I can't think of a way to describe it other than Damon's eyebrow face. A very eyebrow-heavy performance, but I appreciate that he reads his lines in a way other than the most obvious way to read them every single time, which is honestly a rarity in CW acting. In later seasons, go way too far with it, like some of his line reads are just straight up cuckoo.
Doesn't sound crazy. It is crazy. Stop defending me. That's cool. You crushed his gut. You're a racer. You know what I'm talking about, but you're not.
Oh, also, I'm pretty sure this guy was somebody in Lost, so I'm sure a lot of you were very angry that I just
Hey, I
called
made it.
the actor that got to I didn't watch Lost, so we'll have to take it to court over that one. Anyway, Damon was the obvious fan favorite, and you could also tell by the way he was written that he was
Yeah,
the writer's favorite.
I think I already got my bonus.
Oh, it's a bonus.
So
I can literally do that.
no. Then we'll play till I get another talent level up. But I don't think I'm gonna get any more bonuses.
They all look comically too old to be the ages they play.
Got my ring. Get in, get out. And stuff. This do that. 16-year-old child.
6 years. He should not live like this.
I'm the kid, Mom. You're supposed to be responsible for me.
Which only gets funnier when characters are vampires and theoretically frozen in age while their actors keep getting even older. Like, Damon is supposed to be 25 for the entire run of the show, and the actor's already too old when they cast him, and then he's pushing 40 when the series ends. So you look at Damon in season 8, and you're supposed to buy that this man was admitted into a high school dance. Anyway, Elena lives in Mystic Falls, Virginia, which has a history of supernatural activity. The Vampire Brothers are both in love with Elena because she looks identical to Catherine, the sexy evil lady who turned them both into vampires in the first place. I feel like we see this so often with vampires, where like if they love any modern woman, it's because she looks identical to a previous love that they had. I think that's so lame. Like I understand the love type, but that is the complete wrong. I think the reason we see it so much is that it's really good writing shorthand to not have to think of a reason that they love this person. So that's basically the premise of the show. These two vampires want to date Elena, and then every season a new supernatural threat comes to town, or I should say every half season they tend to break it up into shorter arcs, which honestly I like and I'm a fan of because it forces the show to move really fast and not waste time. So they'll bring in witches, werewolves, other vampires, just kind of whatever they decide exists. That number 2, supporting cast. Elena has 2 best friends, Caroline and Bonnie. Well, it's kind of written like Caroline is the superficial cheer captain / acquaintance, and Bonnie is Elena's real best friend. You guys made it? At the beginning, they hang out with Caroline as like find her kind of annoying, especially in the early episodes. We see that Bonnie is the one that Elena actually confides in. But Caroline is later turned into a vampire, which makes her much more involved with the central storyline. And Bonnie is employed as a very utilitarian character. She's a very powerful witch. I predict this year it's going to be
Please don't leave me. I can't just...
Whenever the plot needs to move along, they'll just write in some new ability that Bonnie has. But then consistently, I feel like we see a lot more of her doing spells than having any kind of inner world. We're gonna go ahead and put a big pin in the character of Bonnie. Their group includes Matt, Elena's ex-boyfriend, now friend, who is mostly interesting because he stays a human for the whole series, which is personality-wise, Kristoff from Frozen. Like, he's nice, and that's it. Elena's parents are already dead when the series starts because if your protagonist is a teenager and you want them to go have adventures, it's just a lot easier if their parents are dead. If you watch, you'll notice that a lot of these happen over the course of the series.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yes.
You look pretty good too, Mom.
Oh. Anyway, Elena has a little brother named Jeremy, and their legal guardian is Jenna, the Kool-Aid. Jenna's supposed to be a grad student, so she's meant to be young, but her this is literally only 2 years older than Elena's, which is a little extreme. Then we have Alaric Saltzman.
Ah, I see.
History teacher, vampire hunter, and when he joins their squad, he's kind of the team surrogate dad. And when the cast grows up and goes to college, he follows them and becomes a college professor, a la Mr. Beanie. I want to reveal how old I am by referencing Mr. Beanie. I mainly wanted to call him Alaric because his
No. Okay. I'm good. I'm good. There was a checkpoint.
Alaric Saltzman, and that's it. I'm realizing now that this is a very short section. The reason it's a short section is there's a point later on the list called Characters I Hate, and a whole lot of people are there. Number 3, the lore. In revealing supernatural creatures, we establish how your universal choice works. Lots of universes have covered vampires, witches, werewolves, but they of the show is pretty good about explaining its rules. Vampires are super fast and super strong and can compel people, which is basically control. They can look in your eyes and make you do things.
But I'm too tired. I don't want to keep doing this.
In the first
This level's too long. Let me through. Let me through.
This is never explained, ends a few episodes in, and never returns. The spooky crow is all over the island. I guess they didn't renew his contract between seasons. Maybe he had a falling out with a castmate. To kill a vampire, or ripping out their heart, decapitating them, or lighting on fire.
Let me through.
And if they go in the sun, they'll light on fire themselves.
I did it.
More on that later. These vampires have
Yay.
been invited into houses, which I love. That's such an underrated classic vampire rule. And when vampires are invited out, you know they're taking themselves too seriously. They do some funny stuff with it too. Own house.
The next thing I know, I can't get into my house because my foot won't go through the door. Can't believe I know. I live alone. Oh, that sucks.
And this one vampire was dragged into a house while on snow, then wakes up and hasn't been invited in, so it's like he starts suffocating. The last one of the weakness is the herb Vervain. Injecting it works to tranquilize your dart.
You can put it in jewelry. You can even put it in food. As long as it's in you, on you, a vampire cannot put it. So it's true.
So my favorite quality about Vervain is that if you trick a vampire into drinking it, they'll do a comedy spit take. Porter Vervain is the same thing as Vervain. So many of these late 2000s memes will show up as Hollywood shoppers, and their lotion of choice is coconut lime verbena. They're basically invincible. Unfortunately, in modern times, coconut lime verbena has been discontinued, so we're all gonna die. So put someone into vampire, feed them vampire blood, and then kill them while it's still in their
I did it.
and then they have to feed on human blood themselves.
I'm doing it. I'm winning the thing. No!
So we often see our human characters getting shot and stabbed and brought. And a good character is more fine. But then the most common way we'll see people get turned into vampires is they'll drink vampire blood and they'll get their neck snapped. So where does vampire blood magic
How
go
much
from?
further do I have
And
to
what
go?
injuries it can heal, and what injuries it will turn you into a vampire from dying of. There's this really confusing story beat where Jeremy wants to
No!
he drinks vampire. And Stefan says it's because the vampire blood healed the poisoning from the pills.
Which way do I go? Must be this way, right? Yeah. Help me!
But if it can heal an overdose or a serious abdominal wound, why can't it heal a broken neck or drowning? Oh, speaking of blood, vampires drink it. They can. It explains that drinking human blood is what gives vampires their supernatural powers. So by drinking animal blood, you can weaken and also if you try to compel people.
There's like one person that's watching me play this whole
If
time.
vampires don't drink any blood at all, it won't actually kill them.
I did it.
Instead of weaker and time to keep your body to start to desicate, communicate, and stay in kind of this basis as a mama kind of
Like,
so it's kind of like my relationship to G Fuel Energy formula. Use code Force Girl. They said if I move enough product before my contract ends, they'll name a flavor after me. We also have a few
Nice.
other Halloween monsters running around.
Spooky Stair Circuit.
Vampire Hunter.
Explore.
Werewolves are dangerous because their bite can kill a vampire. But honestly, I hate the werewolves. Not a single good character is a werewolf. And as early as season 2, the world building starts to get extremely funny, at least to me, because it's always just whatever the plot calls for in that moment. Nothing is.
Oh, she doesn't like the werewolf
nothing
boy.
is set in stone. And obviously, if you operate like
Yeah, he's
that
not very
for
good.
like 8 seasons, things are going to start to get really sloppy. So let me just give you one.
Let's go.
I said Elena is identical to Stefan and Damon's old vampire girlfriend. So why is that? Well, Elena is a magical creature called the doppelganger. What's a doppelganger? Well, it's a human that has no special powers but looks like Catherine. You'll notice I said and not someone. That's because Elena is the only doppelganger that we have. We don't know what it means. It's just a plot device so that Elena looks like their ex, so that they're in love with her. But later seasons expand on the doppelganger thing entirely to create new ideas for the plot. Like, there will be a ritual or a prophecy or something that means a new Halloween monster that's come to needs Elena's blood. And then in season 2 they actually know that Catherine herself was also a doppelganger of a different person. And remember when I said that Elena was the only doppelganger ever? Well, in season 4 they changed their mind. Yeah, it turns out that Stefan is also the doppelganger of an evil male witch.
Hello, my shadow self.
Yeah, I guess you can save money by just making your principal cast double up on roles. And then in season 5, we find out that the person that Elena and Catherine are doppelgangers of is Amara, and that Amara was actually the handmaiden of a new witch character that they've just written in that season. And then in the spin-off show, we find out that Elena and Catherine had another doppelganger in between them and Amara, whose name is Tatia. This adds nothing of value. It's just one of those things that happens when you've been out of ideas for 5 seasons straight. Number 4, the birth of Vampire Diaries. Let's have a little history lesson. I said that L.J. Smith is the author of the Vampire Diaries books, but interestingly, they were not her idea. In the early 90s, HarperCollins approached Alloy Entertainment,
Let me go.
a book packaging company,
I
and
want
told
to
them that they
go.
wanted a teen vampire series. Book packaging is when a publisher decides they
Move.
third-party company to kind of throw it all together for them. From what I can tell, this is way more common in the world of nonfiction. Like if you're at the checkout stand at Barnes & Noble and you see a coffee table book of photos, or a community cookbook, or a crocheting instructional book that I use with crochet hook and yarn, that was probably the and we wanted crochet books to sell at Christmas time, and the book packaging company found someone who knew how to crochet, a photographer to take the pictures, someone to write the blurbs,
I have to
etc.
go in there
It isn't
and do
anyone's
that.
baby, it's just a product that a company wanted to sell. Sometimes book packaging companies will develop a book in-house and then pitch it to publishing companies, and some
They won't let me in.
each write different installments under a shared pseudonym. The Hard Boys and Nancy Drew both came from book packaging. Alloy Entertainment specifically focuses on YA book series, and they're actually responsible for some pretty popular ones like Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars. So LJ Smith then for hire
Alright,
basis
I can't do that unless they go that way.
I really just said we want a teen romance series about vampires and no further
Thank
discussion.
you.
The characters themselves, the plot lines, the world building, all of that seems to be Smith's invention. I haven't read the books myself, but my impression is that they are not very similar to the TV show. Like the showrunner books, and then that was the framework for me as much as the first season. The broad strokes of a lot of the major characters.
I don't understand.
And the basic premise is the same. But other than that, like the seasons of the show don't correspond to individual books, and the two diverse.
Whatever.
Also, from what I've heard, the books really went off the rails. Foxy and Shinichi and his twin sister Misao, who have been invading the town using mystical and evil mouth. Elena struggles to adjust back to her human form after having spent so much time in the spirit world. She later chooses that, but simultaneously Mary attend a party
Help!
by Wood, who transforms into a huge haul every night. I wish that was in the show. You're finding
Bum,
the
bum.
seven treasures Damon and Seven kills Shinichi, who is trying to stop him. However, on the tree, and he dies. Okay, so my point is, the books are moving. Let's move on. Number 5. Dating tree. Why did I say it like that? Speaking of magic trees, whoever dates everyone
Oh.
in Fire Diaries, because this is a teen drama. That's just the way it goes. And also, I think the writers like to kind of test out different pairings and see what the viewers respond to. And then make it helping a really good shipping chart and reference.
We did it. We made it to the end of this one.
And this tree is only 10 parents where they dated, kissed, or at least expressed interest
We'll
in
see-
the other
we'll see how
parent
much
during the show. I was doing
crowns I get,
fan parents,
crowns
even
shards I get on the next level.
There are gay people
Boom,
on this show,
boom, boom,
and the answer is,
boom,
for all
boom.
intents and purposes, no. None of the core cast are anyway, unless you count like a kind of fetishized threesome that happens with one of the women one time and is never mentioned again. No, if we're being honest here, across 8 seasons of Vampire Diaries, there are 4 gay characters. First up is Caroline's dad. Caroline's dad left Caroline's mom before the events of the series. He's gay, and that's mainly used as a punchline, like, haha, she couldn't keep her man, left her for a man. That's so embarrassing.
Voicing.
One of top boys have called dad. At least he's successfully dating one.
Oh!
Show his face in season 3 as an evil vampire hunter who tortures his own daughter for being a vampire. And I'm not kidding, an apparent allegory for gay conversion therapy. It's not subtle. Let's not. They try to do that. Her pop mom, Jock's boyfriend, to save her from her evil gay dad. Then he threatens to become a vampire, which the characters refer to as outing him, and Caroline's dad dies because he gets halfway turned into a vampire and refuses to drink blood to complete the transition. So if we're still he's figuratively gay, and Caroline's gay dad is figuratively homophobic, and Caroline's dad is dying of an illness that only temporarily acting gay is pure. I'm sorry, it's terrible. It's one man, one and he's like, I can't. I'm too straight. Caroline's like, do you want me to call your boyfriend, who has only ever existed off screen and whom you have supposedly been living with? And he's like, a gay bitch. You know he's gay because he says, I'm gay.
Typical gay characters.
Gay and your brother.
And other characters talk a lot about how he's gay. We never see him with enough.
Signal frogs fall more fun.
Oh yeah, David Delfield.
Oh, me.
And on screen too. Luke shows up to a nice party and his sister is like, how did you
No! No!
Oh,
There's one way to do this. Here's how you do it. You wait for that. Oh no, wait. No, 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 no! Alright, so what you do is you wait for that, and then you go. No. No! I can do this, I can do this.
And that's it. Apparently Legacies, the new storm, son. In the first season, you're treated as like a really coveted object because you have
I did it. I did it.
as if it's not like
When you redeem it, it'd be like you redeem
Telling me the crown's going up.
you to witnessing like vampires for every
Damn it.
vampire.
I have no idea how many crowns I have. Alright, I'm just gonna do like, I'm done. Let's just cancel. Quick game. There, I'm done. I can't do anything. I can't do this anymore. Let's see how many bonus stuff. I'm pretty sure we got some bonus stuff
Hits with Vervain
from the fact that I seem to have leveled up my thing a little. I got a new thingy.
Stefan gets Elena to where the fortune is about vampires because he wants her to be safe, but he can't tell her enough, so he can just give her jewelry.
Watch and see. It's not gonna be just a regular amount. It's gonna have like a little bit of bonus stuff in it.
There are multiple points in the show where somebody takes their necklace.
Yeah, 9 levels. It should be 90. Oh, it's 114. What's that much? Alright, whatever. I don't care.
On the other hand, you have Caroline who finds out about vampires.
I feel like I should have went on the Europe server. Alright, anyway. That's it, I guess. That's it, right? Yeah, that seems to be it. No more challenges. That's all, folks. Please like, subscribe, click the bell, leave a comment. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Stop recording.